The heart beats on average 100,000 times a day, pumping nearly 2,000 gallons of blood through almost 60,000 miles of circulatory system, enough to encircle the Earth more than twice. And it all starts with an electrical pulse.
I was a jogger. I used to do 25 miles a week or so. I was conscious of my diet. And I always thought if you did those things, you wouldn't have to worry about your heart.
On November 19, 1998, Mike and Dolores Ty boarded American Airlines Flight 11 from Boston to Los Angeles. 3 hours into the flight, they discovered that heart attack can happen anywhere.
The plane wasn't full, so there was plenty of room, and we were sharing, two of us were sharing 3 seats, so she wanted to put her feet on my lap, and I didn't want them up there, so we're kind of fooling around. And with that, I went unconscious.
All of a sudden, his head slumped back, and his arm flailed out into the aisle. So I got him down on the floor, and I tried to feel for a pulse. I couldn't feel a pulse. I tried to hear if he was breathing. It did not look like he was breathing at all.
Within seconds, the flight attendant and Dolores began CPR, but Mike was unresponsive. His heart's electrical system was malfunctioning. Each heartbeat starts with an impulse from the heart's own natural pacemaker, the sinoatrial node located in the right atrium. It sends out small electrical impulses that travel through the heart, causing it to beat at regular intervals. About 60 beats per minute at rest, and up to 170 beats per minute during exercise. Mike's heart was racing at more than 300 beats per minute. His heart had gone into ventricular fibrillation, a condition where the main pumping chamber develops a chaotic and very fast rhythm. Within moments, Mike's heart became exhausted and stopped. He was in cardiac arrest, a condition that, according to the American Heart Association, happens to more than 350,000 people a year in the United States.
The only treatment is really to do CPR and to shock the heart through the chest wall back into a normal rhythm, the so-called defibrillation. And unless it's treated, it's fatal.
Luckily for Mike, the plane had been equipped with an automatic external defibrillator, or AED, just 8 days before his flight.
Connect electrode.
The flight attendant attached the AED to Mike's chest, which sent an electrical shock to his heart.
They put the pads on and they called to defibrillate, and it shocked him and it jolted him and he moved. And then the next thing was, okay, resume CPR. And this happened 3 times.
And finally, the 4th time, they did it, and I came around.
The plane made an emergency landing in Denver, where medical technicians rushed Mike to a local hospital.
I wasn't aware of where I was, but I was alert and I was alive. And without the defibrillator, I would never have made it.
In the past few years, these portable devices have been popping up in many public places like casinos and health clubs.
Bystanders who happen to be their 2 nurses begin CPR.
To learn how to use the AED, I took a class with Boston emergency medical technician George Murphy at FitCore Health Club.
With a simple 4-hour course, we're going to teach you adult CPR, adult choking, and how to use the defibrillator. Okay, Kat, Jennifer's going to go ahead and show you how we do a minute's worth of CPR, and I'll talk you through it. First thing she's going to do is establish unresponsiveness, look, listen, and feel for 3 to 5 seconds to see if they're breathing.
Jennifer alternately compresses the victim's chest and breathes for the victim until the defibrillator arrives.
Now we'll assume that you've arrived with the AED, so the first thing you're going to do is turn it on.
Okay, I'm going to do this?
Yeah, just go ahead and turn it on. Once you turn it on, it begins to tell you what to do.
Connect electrode.
Okay, so this one goes here like this?
There are easy diagrams that show you how to use the machine.
And I would assume I'd have to work fairly quickly with this.
With each minute that passes during cardiac arrest, the chance of death increases by 7 to 10%.
Stand clear.
It's found a shockable rhythm, so the person should be defibrillated.
The AED will only send a shock if it detects a fast, chaotic heartbeat or no heartbeat at all.
Once you're sure nobody's touching, you hit the button. And now the person's been defibrillated.
Oh.
Using the AED is extremely easy. Just follow the voice prompts and the machine tells you what to do.
I'm very active. I work every day. This big sculpture that I do takes a lot of energy.
Nancy Schoen is a sculptor best known for her Make Way for Ducklings sculpture on the Boston Common. But in 1996, Nancy noticed that her energy levels were dropping.
I'd be standing at the checkout counter and I'd feel sort of dizzy, as I was going to faint.
After several trips to the doctor, Nancy was finally diagnosed with arrhythmia, an irregularity in the force or rhythm of her heartbeat.
Apparently my heart at night was at 29 beats per minute. And I said to my doctor, is my heart going to stop? I mean, I was really scared.
Nancy's heart was beating too slowly, and it was unable to supply enough oxygen to the rest of her body. Arrhythmia is an electrical disorder. Mild arrhythmia is very common. 1 in 5 healthy adults experience arrhythmia in any given day. But your risk of severe arrhythmia increases if you've had chronic lung disease, if you've had a heart attack, or in Nancy's case, as you age. To return her heart to a normal rhythm, doctors recommended a pacemaker, an electronic device that would regulate her heart's electrical system. It's a fairly simple procedure that's done over 100,000 times each year in the United States.
I was awake through the entire procedure. It was really painless. And it was sort of exciting to think that I was going to have a machine inside me.
Pacemakers are implanted underneath the skin in the abdomen or under the right shoulder. Wires or leads travel through large blood vessels from the pacemaker to the heart. Through these leads, Nancy's pacemaker monitors her heart rhythm. When Nancy's heart skips a signal, her pacemaker fires an electrical impulse to replace it.
I'm very lucky because this is something that could be fixed, and it was fixed rather easily. And the battery is now, I think, about 5 years old.
Nancy goes to the New England Medical Center twice a year for a checkup.
I'm going to turn you over to Melanie. You know the routine. She's going to check the pacemaker, and I'll review everything with her a little bit later.
This computer uses radio waves to communicate with Nancy's pacemaker. It reads the heart's activity over the past 6 months. It can then make adjustments, increasing or decreasing the pace of her heart, depending on her needs.
And your heart rate is increasing with activity appropriately. So everything looks great.
Good. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Nancy can also check her pacemaker from home once a month over the phone.
At 9 o'clock.